Since ancient times, Western science has explored the natural world as something that can be measured, controlled, and exploited. The ancient Taoists observed nature through the lens of change, as something that is self moving and interconnected in a way that is beyond comprehension. They observed how nature transformed and renewed itself and used it as a philosophical model to understand the human journey. While the West pursues a unified theory of forces or a way of reducing nature into strings, quarks, or elemental building blocks, the ancient Taoists had already found this in Tao. The force, or yang, and the field as yin were variations of how Tao manifested and transforms life. In fact, the binary code behind our technology today was actually inspired by the open and closed yin and yang lines of the Taoist I Ching, or Book of Changes. Western science has reached a strange crossroad with the problem of consciousness. It is called a problem because consciousness remains a mystery to both neuroscientists and quantum physicists. Neuroscientists explore the brain and the inner world, while quantum physicists describe atoms in the outer world. This compartmentalization is apparent in Western medicine too, where the body is treated as separate parts. The Taoists viewed the body as a garden of qi, where life's energy continuously flows through it. The problem of consciousness first arose when classical physics transformed into quantum physics. Experiments revealed how the consciousness of the observer could not be separated from the result of what was being measured. Even while they devised complex experiments to trick an answer that might circumvent this necessity for an observer, the connection between observation and the result remained intertwined. Quantum physics describes a world that can exist in a superposition of all possibilities until it is measured. To make the situation even more bizarre, entanglement revealed how a particle measured in one location could be tied to a particle maybe light years away, changing its properties to match the result. Entanglement was referred to as spooky action at a distance and has been proven through experiments. These findings led Einstein to declare God does not play dice with the universe. Even while he pioneered relativity, which changed time and space into something equally malleable, he was wary of the lack of certainty that was emerging in the physical sciences. Schrodinger's cat became the thought experiment that embodied the uncertainty principle. This means something can exist in multiple states at once. The either-or outcome of whether the cat is alive or dead collapses from these multiple states only when the door is open. The answer can only be known when we see the cat for ourselves. Work in the neurosciences has led to chatbots and artificial intelligence, which means we can replicate intelligence. However, even while AI can access an incredible amount of information or data, consciousness is still missing. Consciousness is not intelligence, and it is not computational. To understand the interior world, neuroscientists describe consciousness in terms of neurons and physical aspects of the brain, but consciousness cannot be reduced to neural activity alone. Consciousness is a subjective viewpoint that by its very nature excludes all other views. It is at odds with the objectivity required by science to interpret what it is. A philosophical revolution is emerging that joins consciousness and the physical world from different angles. Panpsychism suggests that all material, regardless of its size, has some form of consciousness as a fundamental building block. In the basic building blocks of leptons and quarks, scientists search for ways that more simple states of consciousness might build in complexity as systems evolve and merge. New approaches, like many Eastern philosophies, explore a mind-like aspect as being ubiquitous in all of reality. Some scientists view consciousness like digestion and see it as a natural outcome of intelligence. The body uses digestion to process nutrients, and the brain uses intelligence to process information, but intelligence and consciousness are not the same thing. After centuries of exploration, we are able to describe the hardware, but not the software. Non-life becomes life when a strange type of operating system spontaneously emerges. The first chapter of the Tao Te Ching solves the problem of consciousness by helping us separate it from intelligence. It reads, "The Tao that can be named is not the constant Tao." Any attempt to describe the ways of nature or Tao with intelligence means that an awareness of Tao evaporates. To the ancient Taoists, the essence of consciousness is presence, participation, and discovery. Each time we think about consciousness, we make it an object of thought. Instead, like the Taoists, we might embrace nature's message of uncertainty to open to life's deeper mysteries. Choosing not to know reveals how the desire to know can actually limit our awareness of what is. Nature appears to keep its secrets hidden to our intelligence in the same way our dreams evaporate upon waking. If we want to understand a tree, we need to feel its bark and observe its unique consciousness as it bends and grows in its own sense of time to harvest the sunlight. We have no need to psychoanalyze the smell of a flower. Its sweet bouquet can return us to wonder, where we can experience the joy of living. To participate with nature, we invite it in without any sense of boundaries. Not knowing is a prerequisite for accessing this deeper connection. The roundness of a stone can tell a story of the vast amount of time that has shaped it into what it has become. When we respect and trust nature, we learn to respect and trust ourselves. We are that, and that is us. There is no need to classify or reduce the experience into separate parts. Up, down, the vicissitudes are the melody, as our authenticity is being shaped by the flow of change. What makes consciousness different from intelligence is the story we make of our journey. We tend to compartmentalize each aspect of nature, but Taoism is the practice of removing these boundaries. The difference between the Western and Taoist view of consciousness is how we approach the question of living. Rather than seek answers, we live in the question. We learn to embrace uncertainty as life's gift to us. Doing so allows us to experience the joy of living and the freedom to remain free.